guess what? We are here with When the Deadbolt Breaks. What a fucking fantastic, fantastic album they have coming out for you. It is In the Light of the Vatican Fire. It actually releases tomorrow, 6/27, on Argonauta Records. Um, I have to preface this. I just told Steve the fucking album is so good. Like I love that it is a from start to finish, it is a complete art piece, but you can pick any song out of there and it's like the soundtrack to a fucking movie. It is fantastic. So thank you all for fucking putting that together and putting it out. Holy shit.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
That's
Um,
that's pretty incredible. Thank you.
Yeah.
l- let me ask each of you the hardest question that you're probably going to have through this whole thing. Is there a song that each of you have that speaks to you more than the others on the album?
Absolutely. I have a favorite. I don't mind saying that I have a favorite cat either, which I know you're not supposed to, but Red Sparrow. For me, that is like if we're going to accomplish something and just put one thing out there, that's what I would want it to be, just because it kind of encompasses everything that I think about with the band as far as where our individual talents, where our individual songwriting, where our individual voices come out. That one track, I I can listen to it over and over and over again myself, and I do not typically like anything that I myself produce. So it's a little unusual for me to really feel good about that. But that tune I think is just chef's kiss.
Fuck yeah. That's that's a great fucking song. It like it I'm gonna tell you, like when it started, I was like, okay, like I love how the guitars start and it like takes you and then you get in the middle and it just goes fucking crazy. Like yes, that is one of my two.
Mhm.
Um, how about you two?
I would have to say Red Sparrow is probably my favorite too. It's a very emotional song to me. I know we said we didn't want to talk about religion, but I was raised Roman Catholic and then kind of diverged from the faith like years ago. And part of that, like, part of the verse is like, basically doing the Our Father and then kind of adding my spin on it as you're not there for me anymore kind of thing. And just like I had a really hard time actually like singing that part through. Like I just kept crying every time, and
Yeah.
it's a very emotional song for me. But it was just one that I like needed to write and get out.
Yeah.
But and then the fact that we also have chipping sparrows in there also makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I'm an avid birder, so um, I use this app to record all these birds around our area because we live in the woods here, and I was like, Aaron, can we please incorporate this somewhere? And we do have it at the end where there's like all these chipping sparrows and
Yeah.
yeah, birds. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
I'm here for animals and I'm okay with religion in that context.
yeah,
Like totally
yeah,
okay with that.
yeah.
How about you, Aaron?
I think for me, I'm going to diverse a little bit. Like I say, it's got to be Chaos of Water for me. Even though lately it's been a pain in the ass to to get it done to play it live. But for me, like the whole song is a major uphill battle, which maybe that is appropriate, I guess. Um, and the lyrics represent that, and I think it kind of represents a lot of things in my life. And I think like for me, like every album has been representative of an uphill battle or a downhill battle within my life, and I think that song is a perfect representation of that for me. So it's
Right
probably one
on.
of the top ones for me. Yeah. So
I've got to say, like between the three of you, you got the two songs that spoke to me the most. Like those those are, and funny enough, In the Chaos of Water is the longest song on the album.
yeah.
How
Yep.
many people are gonna say that's my favorite? But like
Yeah.
like I'm fucking here for it. You know what I
It,
mean?
it's funny. We've had a couple reviews.
Hmm.
So in the beginning, when we first started getting the very first record we put out, like the first thing that I thought to myself was like, people are gonna fucking hate this stuff. So this is back in 2005, and I still go through that every time we put a record out, right? So in luckily our reviews tend to be pretty good, relatively good. I mean, there's always a little bit of something that people don't like or they do like, or but I feel like a lot of our stuff is kind of designed like that on purpose. Well, not on purpose, but like there's going to be something for everybody and something for nobody, right? So it's funny because Chaos of Water is one of those ones where it's like, oh, it's a little too long, or there's a little bit of something that like the talking at the end, But I find it interesting because that's the stuff where it's a very specific person that's going to put on those headphones and smoke a little bit or whatever, that's gonna like kind of get into it and be like, oh my God, that's Dennis Leary, or tell me Timothy, yeah, Dennis Leary. I'm an asshole. Timothy Leary. Anyways, we were talking about Dennis Leary the other night. That's where that came from. But
well,
so
I mean,
it is
Timothy
kind of
Leary,
funny.
Dennis Leary, there's not a, like one's an asshole, one taught us about LSD, like whatever.
Seal eyes, yeah, but
Yeah.
so it is kind of funny, but yeah.
It is, and it's it's cool for me, like, just as a listener to, I was telling Steve, I try to seek out the things that are different, right? And this is very much that. And obviously not in a bad way, because I'm like, holy shit, this is so good. Like I've got it in my calendar to send it as soon as it releases, to send it to a really good friend of mine. He'll listen to it at work, and by the time he gets off, I almost guarantee he'll text me and be like, holy shit, dude, we've got to get them down here. Like, yes, we do.
Whereabouts are
Um,
you?
so I am in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, shit.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys are like northeast somewhere.
Yeah, we're up in Connecticut. We've actually never been to Kentucky, but
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year we do want to plan on getting down towards the South area, so it's not impossible. So
Yeah.
Hell
We've
yeah.
done West Virginia a couple of times, so I mean we're at least in that ballpark.
yeah, absolutely.
Ish. I mean, we drink
Yeah.
more bourbon here, but whatever.
Oh, all right.
Um,
Not against it.
yeah. Yeah, so when you guys start like doing that, just let me know. I'll connect you with some people down here, and we'll try to make something happen, because this is a show that I have to experience live.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm like, I, God, I just fucking love it. Now I have to go back and listen to the rest of the discography, but it gives me something to like shoot for, right?
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me ask you guys, like, when you started writing in the glow of the Vatican fires, all these long names, it's like a Nile song. Like, what what that last album, would he have like a 3 paragraph song title? You're like, dude, come on. Like,
Fiona Apple does
but
that too.
Right.
yes, yeah. She is not someone that I like. I'm gonna tell you, I took my wife likes her, or liked her, and we went to see her perform, and it was we were probably like fourth or fifth row, and we made it about 3 songs in, and it was one of the worst performances I've ever seen,
Oh,
and we
Wow.
just left.
Really?
oh man.
Jeez.
Yep.
Must have been high anxiety, Fiona Apple.
Oh, yeah, I mean, high something for
Yeah.
sure.
Oof.
Yeah, whatever, not my thing. I'm not gonna shit on her, because I know there are a lot of people that love her, just not my thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you guys started writing the album, like, how does that work with you all? Does someone bring like an idea to the band and say, hey, I've got this whole idea fleshed out, or hey, I've got this idea for this riff and this riff, how do we bridge these?
I mean, it was kind of a little bit of everything. I mean, I brought some stuff in, different riffs that I had, different ideas, and we kind of got together and we tried different things. And at the time, Rob Birkbeck was on drums, and we sat down with him and we started just riffing on things. We came up with different ideas, and he would sit in his his studio, and he would arrange them. Some of the songs he would arrange them the way he felt that they should be, the way he felt that they would be more cohesive, and he would send them out to us. And then by the time we got him, we would start kind of working with him and add our flair to him and put the lyrics to him, and kind of go from there. I mean, other stuff. I mean, there was one of the songs where you had,
Yeah, like actually integrated some like the crystal sound bowls
yeah,
into it was
yeah,
Scythe, and then one of the other songs too. And then even like the steel drum, like the octave drum. So just kind of like adding things here and there. Lyrics are always like the last thing that we do. Usually like Aaron and I will go into the basement and drink a lot and write our lyrics, and a lot of the times like I'll come up with vocal patterns for what I hear, and then like he'll say what he hears. And a lot of the times we have different variations of what we hear in our heads, so it's a nice complement to each other. So we work it out well.
and it's different too because in the past, on all the other records, I was the primary vocalist. Like I was, the primary songwriter, primary vocalist, or whatever. So it was usually just me sitting in the studio trying to write my stuff, trying to figure things out. But as the records have gone on, we've incorporated other people. I mean, we've always incorporated other people into the records, just whoever we felt could make the album stronger, and different songs, different parts, or whatever. But especially with Amber, I mean, she's got such a powerful voice and a unique way of seeing things, very different than I do. That put things in a different, we put things aside differently. And when her and I sat down, it was like, okay, I'd come up with maybe a concept or something and say, okay, this is kind of the direction I want to go with this. And I would see it in one light and say, okay, this is kind of what I see here. And she'd be like, okay. So she'd write a whole nother paragraph, and it was very different than what I was looking at, but it would add a whole cool spin to it. So we just kind of go off of that. So it was a very, very unique, for me, it was a very unique way of going through it. So
Yeah, like I'm a
I
very visual person, so I like to depict everything that I see. Like I love Stephen King, and like the way he writes,
yeah,
just kind of you can imagine everything, like every word that he writes, just like yes, I
yeah,
totally see the picture. And then he's more
yes,
like in the abstract, and like that's how I used to write, but it's like not in my head anymore,
yeah,
I
right.
guess.
you grew into Stephen King.
Yeah,
Who
I guess
knew?
so.
Like,
Yeah,
I feel like it's
yeah. We
crazy.
we uh we have a cat that's arguing right now, I think.
Oh
So
no.
yeah.
no.
Yeah, my old man, he's like gonna be about 15, and like he gets a little crotchety with the other cats, so probably going after one of them is what I'm guessing.
Well, let's hope everyone's okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so while we're on cats and
Pants.
oh, there's Aaron. Oh,
Mr. Pants.
holy shit, Sophia. I know you don't want to move, but holy shit. Um,
This could be her boyfriend.
could be. So we have four animals in the house,
Mhm.
three
Mm,
pit bulls and the cat.
mm,
And the
I
cat's the
think they're,
queen.
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, and they're all lesbians,
Yeah.
which is so wild. Like, so that the oldest, Camille, we got her, she was like a transition dog because my other dog was going with my ex.
mm,
Um, and she didn't like that I was dating someone new. So we got Camille, and we tried Camille needs a companion. So we spent probably 6 or 8 months introducing her to dogs, and my wife was very adamant we're gonna have a boy. I'm like, I don't know. She's gonna tell us what we're gonna have. Like that is how that works, right?
Right.
Anytime a boy came by, she'd snip, growl, and turn away. Like, okay, they're not coming home with us.
mm.
So then we got Gaia, but they're about the same age, and introduced them. Like, went to some adoption event and introduced them. And she was like, "Hey, what's up?" Gaia's like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, I guess she's going home with us.
Yeah.
Like, and
Funny.
no boys. Like,
Yeah.
get away from us. So it's great.
Yeah.
Um, okay, back to the music. So ish, I'll say music ish because you mentioned Stephen King. I have to ask, favorite Stephen King.
Right now, honestly, Fairy Tale. I am in love with that book. Um, And actually, like parts of like the Deep Well kind of draw on that book. Because it reminds
Okay.
me of a very darker version of Wizard of Oz. Like, so my imagination as a child was very much like that, going into different worlds and realms, and that's exactly how that book is. Like, you basically go down this deep well, and there's a whole nother world. That was kind of cool. That was kind of dying and like turning into the gray.
I'm gonna have to like read that.
It's
Like
really interesting. Yeah.
my so my favorite Stephen King is the Dark Tower series.
Have not read it yet, but everybody's like, gotta read it. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Like it is in my mind, it's the first book is a little slow, but once you get past that, it's like bang, bang, bang. And I went to a show 3 or 4 months ago, and there was this band was called Year of October playing, and I don't know, there's probably 30 or 40 people there, and we're all just hanging out in this little bar. And she goes, in this song, uh, the whole lyric content is based off of a Stephen King.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And she's like, it's a Dark Tower series. And everyone's just kind of looking at her like, what? I'm like, that what a great fucking series. And she goes, damn right, it's a great series. And then they went into the song, and I was just
Yeah.
like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking awesome. It's a really good, like thorough series. It'll take you a
Yeah.
minute to read, but man, it's
Yeah.
great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm glad that someone else is also like Stephen King. Like,
Yeah.
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 So how long did it take you all to record this?
Steve?
A year and a half,
Um,
year and a half, maybe 2 years. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I know I had the files forever.
Yeah, it took a while.
Um, yeah, I myself, it was probably 2 or 3 weekends put into my little studio to get through my bits.
Mhm.
I think it was longer to really figure out the configuration of exactly how we wanted to put things together. I think was really the longer part of it. But once we got everything lined up and we got the riffs in order, and we got the ideas of what songs are going to be what, then I think it kind of moved kind of quick after that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and honestly, but by the time I got them, they were pretty much ready to go. The bass was the last thing to go on.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right on. I can
Oh,
only imagine what it's like trying to arrange all of that. Like,
how many tracks on Scythe?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because so I've owned my own recording studio for years. Like I've with when the devil works, we've never recorded in a professional studio. And I mean, I like we have professional studios, but we've never gone and actually paid as somebody in a studio because we can't. Or I've never really felt like we can because it would just cost way too much money because we like to sit there and noodle with knobs and try and figure things out as we go.
Mhm.
yeah.
I've never wanted to just go into a studio and say, okay, here it is. This is the song. It's written. Let's do it. Like drifting towards the edge of the earth. We wrote that literally in a weekend. We had 3 days before we went because we did a short tour with Elder before they blew up. And we took 3 days. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We just drank a shit. It was three of us at the time. We drank a shitload of wine, and we just wrote and recorded simultaneously, like literally for 3 days. That's all we did is wrote, recorded, and drank, and then like went on tour. And then when I got back, it was about a year that I spent down there, like almost every other night, down in the studio, just like adding bass tracks and guitar tracks, and trying to figure things out, trying to add, move things around, and then it eventually became kind of became the record. So if we had paid to go into a studio to do that, it would have costed
Mhm.
a ton of money. Um, but we kind of between Rob, Steve, and myself, like technically and mechanically, we've kind of got that down to a little bit of a science and kind of got it worked out. So it really wasn't as laborious as it seems, especially for a 2 LP record.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I couldn't be happier with the way it came out, honestly. I mean, and then having James Plotkin master it was fantastic. I mean, I think
Feather in the cap. Yes,
But he's
that's
just, yeah, he's a master. I mean, it's just, when
yeah.
we found out that we could actually do that, I was like, holy shit, he's the guy, So,
Yeah.
very happy with the way that came out too. So,
I think it's cool. I didn't know that you owned a recording studio, and I I find it really cool when you get to hear what like sound engineers and producers like do musically, because
Mhm.
the sounds are they're a lot more intense, and like they're different than what a regular musician would do. And you I don't mean that in a negative way at all.
yeah.
It's always super fucking interesting to be like, oh, you did this? That's why this is so cool and like flows like it does.
Well, I don't consider myself a sound engineer in any way. I just have my own studio. I don't record any other bands. Like, I just have shit and records my own stuff. I mean, it's just one of those things where, like I said, I just knew that the cost would be. I mean, plus one of my old bands, we went to a studio once, and I wanted specific things. He's like, "Oh, you can't do that," and I'm like, "But we're paying for it. Why can't we do that?" So
Yeah.
I think it was kind of that point that I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna buy my own shit and just do it my own way," So
Mhm. And how long did
Yeah,
it
but
take
that's
you to get to digital?
forever, yeah,
it's but it work I think it works out so much better,
yeah,
again, whether you're a sound guy or not, like it's I don't want to say like you get these walls put up when you are strictly a musician and you're not trying to like break the mold. You're like, okay, I'm gonna play this, this Cannibal Corpse riff, over and over and over and over.
right.
And don't get me wrong, I love Cannibal Corpse.
Oh yeah,
Like there's room in my life for all the music, but I enjoy when artists can, you know, venture outside of these, I don't know, boundaries, whatever they are.
well, and that's part of the charm too. Is that like I see things in a very specific way, or sometimes too specific, or like I see things in a way that I don't know how to get it done, and then I look at Steve and Steve's like, oh, here it is. I mean, you have this very specific, I mean, you have a way of looking at things very different than I do. And it makes it able to work in a way that I can't make it happen.
Teamwork.
Mhm.
That's that's what it's all about,
Building synergies.
it for real.
There's no divas here.
I think, and that's another thing I think, especially when you get into experimental music, or music that's like outside the traditional like straightforward verse chorus verse, like
Mhm.
this is what we're doing. I think it's really important to note, like, listening to this, I would assume that no one in the band has an ego, you, or not ego enough to like get in the way
Mhm.
of where the song goes. I feel like you all sit down and like, okay, this serves the song best. Let's move this way.
Yep.
I think within our human limitations, there are certainly points where I'm like, I want to play this part live because it's way more cool than, the part that would probably make a little bit more sense. So I'd say guilty of that for sure.
Noodle doodle doodle.
It's not got in the way yet, at
Yeah.
least not that I know of.
Oh, well, that's that. Yay. But yeah, it's just full disclosure interview now. I'm just going to start fessing up to, yeah, I stole from the band funds and
Uh,
We had $5 in there.
now you have two.
So it's funny you say that. I'm not going to mention the name of the band, but there was a band that I like a lot. Um, they came through probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and played around here. So we went and seen them, and they finished their tour and got home. And I'm out with a buddy of mine at a show, and he's telling me, he's like, "Hey, this band?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, this person did that," right? He like used the band funds for like OnlyFans, and like was like Yeah. Um, was just using the band funds for whatever, essentially whatever the fuck he wanted.
Right.
And I'm like, that sucks, dude. I thought he's telling me this at a show, so I can't
Right.
really hear him. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's really weird. None of those people seem like they would do that. And like later that night, I get home and I like get on Facebook and a story pops up and it was a different band saying the same story. And I was like,
Oh shit.
oh, that makes more fucking sense. Like, okay,
And what are you supposed to do with
damn.
that information, though? You
Yeah, I
know,
know, right? Like, oh shit. Like,
you know,
fuck.
it's funny. Like one of the things we used to say on tour all the time, or like whenever we're like, doing the 3 day weekend thing or whatever. I'm like, man, being in a band is dumb. You know, I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like I've done it we've done it for years, and I'm gonna keep doing it until hopefully I die. But I mean, at the end of the day, like sometimes it is kind of stupid. You know, you're like, we're like 50, almost 50 years old, and it's like, it's like I remember when I was in cable, we're laughing about it because we sit down, we're having dinner, we're like, think about it, man, like we're sitting here in a basement as adults and we're like trying to explain a song to somebody, we're like, no, it goes bum 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 bum, you're like trying to, you just sound like an idiot trying to tell the, and we're like, what the fuck are we really doing here, so, but I mean, honestly, like it's at the same time, it's one of the greatest things that I will ever do at the same time,
Hell
But
yeah.
I don't use any of the band funds for OnlyFans. I mean,
Apparently you're missing out, dude. That whole $5 is gonna get you
Uh,
a
I'm not
picture or two
disagreeing.
anyway.
I'm not disagreeing because Steve stole the money, so that's why I can't do it anyways.
Yeah, indeed,
yeah, that's true.
indeed.
Steve's like, I bought a Snickers. You don't need any more naked photos
Right.
Yeah,
from whoever that person is.
yeah.
That's so great. So what's it like when you guys play live?
Well, first when we go to the venue, I always get the so are you the girlfriend of of the guitar player? Like basically trying to charge me to get into the show, and I have to be like, no, I'm in the band. So
Every single time.
that's usually our, getting into the door thing, and
Yeah.
then there's loading
I
in
could see
all the
that.
ridiculous amount of gear that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have for three of us with no drums and three, two stringed instruments and a couple of vocalists, we have more gear than a five-person band generally does.
Yep.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
Um,
four pedal boards.
yeah. But we use this. We have a projector that we use. We've been using it for years, and we like. I mean, it's loud and it's intrusive. But we've always tried to set up where like the band itself doesn't matter. Like so,
Mhm.
whoever's on stage, it doesn't matter. Like there's no you ignore the people. Like it's more about the aesthetics and the visuals and the this wall of sound and the vibrations and everything that's coming at you. And there's no we don't talk between songs. I mean, sometimes I'll say something really stupid, but for the most part, it's
Mhm.
there's no how are you, Rockville, or it's
Mhm.
just flowing from one song to the next. It's just
Yeah.
creating an atmosphere and just trying to get a vibe going from one thing to the next. And
Mhm.
if it's 45 minutes, if it's an hour, if it's an hour and a half, it's 15, 20 minutes, whatever. It's a complete flow of what we're doing with the visuals and all that. So yeah.
I actually prefer when artists don't really talk between songs. Like I not nothing against those who talk, other than I'm not here to listen to you talk. I want you to play fucking music.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like I guess sometimes it's all right if they talk, but more times than not, I'm like turn to whoever I'm with and I'm like, God, I wish they would shut the fuck up and just play.
Just do your thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And over
like
here on bass tonight is Steve Wader. And then we have Aaron Lewis. Yeah, it's yeah.
There is truly nothing necessarily wrong with that, though. It's just that we just choose not to do it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure there are people that go to shows and they're like, "Hey, I know you're going to play this song. tell me a story leading into it, or talk to me. Like, um, who were we at? We went to see Tool at Louder Than Life a couple of years ago. Maybe it was last year. I don't know. Um, and they like Tool's pretty like straightforward. They play their music, they stop, and they leave stage.
Yeah.
And all these people around me are like, why didn't they even say bye?
Because that's what they do.
They got done. I don't give a fuck. Like
Right.
they played music. That's all we wanted, right? Like,
Yeah.
did you need him to be like, bye, I love you, I'll see you next time we're in
Right.
town? Like,
Yeah.
Kisses.
But yeah, I mean, and as far as kind of giving clues about the songs, I think there's a fine line between that and Casey Kasem, where you're saying something. The water was rushing into the basement, and that sound became chaos of water up three to number 65. It's like I mean, I don't know about Amber and Aaron, but I wouldn't even know what to say if we were going to say something in between the songs.
No, I think I stopped talking in between songs because I used to say really inappropriate shit. Like we there was a when we first started playing as Deadbolt, we would play these really just shitty dive bars around Connecticut. I mean, yeah, way back when. And and I would just say shit in between songs, and I just some stuff I just probably shouldn't have said. Sometimes I would just point people out and just say shit about them, and then we would just roll into the next song, and like Roman, the our bass player, would just be looking at me like, "What the fuck are you saying?" I'm like, "I don't know, just play," like. So I just don't do that anymore. It's just, and besides, nobody cares what I have to say, so it's just let's just play the stuff. I don't even mention who the band is. We just do it, and we just get off stage, and that's it.
now that's a part I think you need to do. Hey, you know, good night. We're not Tool. See ya.
Yeah.
I
Though
figured the best I could say is I'm not Aaron Lewis from Stained. Goodbye.
that's good. Though I think the best thing you ever said at the end of a show, Aaron, came from when we were in Geno's in Maine. Your exact quote was, "We're when the deadbolt breaks. Thank you so much for allowing us to play." End quote.
Like they had a choice.
Yeah, like, thanks for allowing. I was like, you know what? Like that kind of just wraps it all up nicely. Like, it's like you're inviting us in to play incredibly loud music,
That's
and
true.
we get to do this.
Yeah.
So thanks. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I mean, it is true though, but I mean, I do think that's more gracious than anything that I could normally say. So yeah.
Or when the
I
Deadbolt
mean,
breaks, we have merch.
Right.
yeah, there you go.
Do you remember that
Merch is back.
there was a band from I think they were in New Hampshire called Non Compos Mentis. Do you remember them at all?
Mm-mm.
They were on like Wonder Drug Records, I think, out of Boston. And remember, I saw them once, and this is in the early '90s, so it was before like Slipknot or any of those bands. And they wore these orange jumpsuits, right? And they had green disc gloves that they wore with black masks. And the vocalist didn't say anything between songs. He had signs that he held up. And one of them just says thank you. So in between every song, he just held one that said thank you. And the other one just said merch over there and had an arrow. And I'm like, that was the coolest thing. And they opened up with Crisis. Remember that band Crisis, Karen Crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah, they played with them quite a bit. So I just thought that was the coolest thing. He's like, thank you. Merch over there. Like,
Crisis was had Afzal Dean in it,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That band. Yep. Those
Yep.
guys, that was a freaking heavy band.
He's got Afzal's got a new band called Masters Ashes going.
I knew he was working on some stuff. Yeah, okay. So that's full blown now, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how full blown it is. They were recording shit. So
Nice.
he's got do you know the Convalescents?
No.
So they're kind of a like a deathcore or metalcore style band, but with like horror stuff. So their keyboard player Katie McCrimmon is doing some stuff with Masters Ashes, and Jeff Golden, who was he was in Crowbar, and he does
6 feet
touring.
under. Yeah.
Yep.
He
Oh yeah.
actually played bass in my old band Clockseed for a minute and a half when we were real young. So
Oh shit. I fucking love Jeff, dude. I was actually
Super nice
texting
dude.
with
Yeah,
him fucking yesterday. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting back out on the road and doing shit because he was so like I miss the road,
yeah.
you
At the
know.
Crowbar. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's cool. It's funny you fucking know him. So what a small world, dude.
I know, right?
That's so cool. So I guess you guys now know you have a place in Florida to go and play when you decide to go down there too.
Yeah, we were talking to the guys from Hollow Leg the other night.
Another fucking band.
Do you know Earthride from Maryland?
I don't.
So I got quite a few years ago. I got asked to. Earthride's been a staple in the Maryland doom scene for years. The drummer just played on one of the more recent Church of Misery records. They're the vocalist of Earthride. He's passed away now, but he played bass with the Obsessed. He's mixed in with Wino, Saint Vitus, so that whole crew, right? So I got asked to play bass with them on tour with it was them and the Skull were going out with Hyborian. So we went out for a month and I played bass with them. Um, so I got to know them really well. And after Sherman, the vocalist, passed away, we wanted to do a reunion type thing at the Maryland Doom Festival, just kind of in his honor. But we needed somebody that could fill Sherman's shoes vocally because he had a very, very unique voice. And I remember talking to Eric, the drummer, and he's like, "Hey, I got this guy from Florida coming up to do vocals." And I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "Do you know Scott from Hollow Leg?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we played with them a couple times, but I don't really know Scott that well." And he's like, "Yeah, he sang for Bloodlet." And I'm like, "Wait, get the fuck, Bloodlet?" Because
Yeah.
as a kid with Bloodlet, I had that tape. I still have the Ethogen tape, and I'm like, I didn't know when we played with Hollow Leg, I didn't know that was Scott from Bloodlet, you know. So now, flash forward, here we are. The first night we were practicing as Earthride in Eric's basement with Scott from Bloodlet, Hollow Leg on vocals. Two things happened. First of all, the second he hit that microphone, he channeled Sherman's voice. It sounded like Sherman was in a room. It was really amazing. And then also I'm fanboying because I'm like, this is the dude from Bloodlet, So it was pretty amazing. But so now Scott and I are pretty good friends, and they came up through Connecticut the other night. We were hanging out with them while they were playing at
Strange Brew.
Strange Brew, and we've been talking about trying to get Deadbolt and Hollow Lake together to try and do a short run. So we were talking about maybe trying to get down to Florida and doing a rundown that way. And actually, we were talking to a buddy of ours the other night who's in North Carolina too. So maybe hitting Reggie's, and this could end up being kind of a cool little thing. So
Hell yeah. So when Hollow Leg was on their way up to Maryland Doomfest, they played here. So we've got there's this bar, Mag Bar, and they do every Monday they do Metal Monday, and um it is so fucking bonkers. Almost every Monday it's packed. Like I think last Monday there was I counted 75 or so people in there.
Mm.
Um Unfortunately the Hollow Leg show there was only like 40 or 50 and I'm like where the fuck is everyone? Like it's a big family. All the people that come every fucking Monday. It's the same people. You walk in, you're like, "Hey, hugs, miss you. Haven't seen you
right,
since last week." You know what I mean?
yeah.
So when they showed up, I was just like where the fuck is everyone else?
Aw.
Shit. Um, but I would say, like, dude, if we could make that bill happen here, I'm fucking into it. I would love a fucking Deadbolt Hollow Leg fucking show.
I think we can make it happen.
When the
Has
Deadbolt
to be
breaks the hollow leg.
Yeah,
Hollow
right.
Leg. Yeah. Metal Monday. That's fucking
Hell yeah.
oh
Right.
God, this is fucking exciting. God, it's so funny. Like when you get into like the world of music and you talk to people and you mention someone, it's like, oh yeah, well I know him and
Yeah.
I know these other people, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
such a it's such a small world, but it's such a great community too, you know?
It is. I mean, especially the doom scene. I mean, Steve and I were talking about the other night that the way the metal scene used to be around here back in the day, it was really different. There was like a very weird competition almost feeling about it, you know. But now that doom and stoner and like there's a weird changing of the tides that happen, and now there's a lot more of a community thing, and we'll travel to West Virginia and Maryland and Pennsylvania, and you just even if you don't know the bands that you're playing with, you almost immediately become friends with them. So it's cool. It's a very different vibe now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same 12 people that buy all the fucking Doom albums, you know? They're like, that, I
True.
mean,
I mean,
you know, they fucking buy 100 copies each. You're like, fuck, we had a great week. Like,
Yeah.
what happened? But, it's looking at like Ripple Fest, Texas, and Planet Desert Rock Weekend in Vegas. It's 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 the same thing, right? Like the people who go to one, everyone goes to the other one too. So it's just
it
it,
is true. Yeah.
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, fuck, I love that. I absolutely love that. We um we have two festivals here. One is called Legalized Lex. It's in Lexington. They do it right around 420, whatever that
Mhm.
weekend is. I think this year it was the 18th and 19th, that Friday, Saturday.
Mhm.
Okay, that's cool.
Uh, and it's 2 nights, and Braun from Crop and Josh Flowers from Swamp Hawk, like they curate the whole thing.
Wow.
It absolutely crushed last year or this year. Last year was great too, don't get me wrong. But year one was last year. It was one night. Year two was 2 nights, and it was fucking wild. And there is also this is the Kentuckiest thing ever. Holler of Doom.
Oh, we got to do that.
Yeah. They like you go out, it's again, it's 2 days for the people in attendance, it's $30 a day, and you get to camp at the fucking festival grounds.
That's cool.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah. So they just literally just put out a short today, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we'll be drinking or smoking or whatever we're doing, and 4 in the morning decide we want to play, and someone gets up and gets on stage and starts playing, and other people start showing
Oh
up, and
shit.
like, all right, we'll just jam." So
That's awesome.
That's
Oh,
funny.
wow. Yeah, that is wild.
yeah, that one comes up in 2 weeks.
Oh, we'll be on tour then. So I can't make
Hell
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, so where's the tour going?
Sorry, you broke up for a second. Say it again.
Oh, I said, where's the tour going?
So we're starting in Bethpage, New York. I know we're heading up into Canada for a couple nights. We have three definite in Canada right now. We're working on a fourth right now. I know we're coming back down to Vermont and Massachusetts. So that's it.
Okay.
As for July, that's it for right now. So it's kind of a short run. I know we're working on some stuff for August. So
Hell
we haven't
yeah.
been to Canada since 2016, I think. So looking forward to getting back there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How have the crowds been for you guys in Canada previously?
We've only played there. We played two shows there back then, back in 2016, and both shows were awesome. Toronto was good.
Yeah. Toronto was like a festival kind of thing, I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, Toronto was it was a big festival with Old Time Moonshine. There's a whole shitload of bands on it.
So long ago.
And then in Montreal, we played a place called the Crowbar. It was a small bar, like I swear it was like 16 stories up, and we had to walk the gear all
Yeah.
the way up. You know,
No air conditioned, super, super hot.
it was the smallest bar inside, and it was so hot up there, and all the kids seemed like they were 10 years old. They were so young, and everybody's just like pounding beers. We're like, how old are these guys? And we realized it was like 18 and over to drink, so it just started making sense. But they were so rowdy. It was the greatest thing. And I just remember I was sweating so much that we were like, I was headbanging, during songs and shit. And I just remember my sweat was just like flying back,
Yeah,
hitting the sound guy, So it was like there was nowhere for me to go. So I was like, I just felt
yeah,
bad.
we were all drenched. It was nasty.
It was pretty bad, yeah. But it was
Hell,
a great show.
that's awesome. You
Yeah.
know, maybe those guys really were 10 years old because it was the only ones that could make it up to the club.
This is true. They have the stamina, so it's
Yep.
it's not for me to judge.
All the older people, like, unless you're getting paid to be there, the older people are like, I don't want to break a fucking hip going up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They give up on step two.
Yeah.
It's a lot like the long walk, only there's no army and only one kid wins and he gets a beer at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh fuck. God, I hope that place is still there. I need to figure this out because I want to show up and see all the 10-year-olds drink too. Like that was, you know, so I grew up in Detroit and when we were, God, it was probably 18, 19, we'd go across the bridge, and back then, I mean, shit, that was 30 fucking years ago. Holy shit. All you need, all you needed was your ID to get across,
Wow,
you
yeah.
know?
A little
Now
different
you need,
now.
yeah.
Border
Now the
Patrol.
passports, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what,
It'll be interesting.
yeah. What do you all have, or what do you all hope happens with the release of the album?
Steve?
I hope at least one person listens to it front to back, honestly.
Already done.
All right, woohoo! Then I can die now. I mean, there's
Steve's like, I'm out. That's it.
I'm out. Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, honestly, I'm just hoping people can listen to it front to back because um, the songs do flow. We did put some effort into thinking of the order of the songs and how we wanted to start a journey and end a journey. I think having Chaos of Water be on the last song on side two, it's supposed to be kind of exhausting. So you almost have to heave yourself up to switch over to the next record. That's if someone can get something out of that, then I'm the happiest clam in the sea.
Just
That's
want
you
fame.
got such a low bar.
I'm like me. I'm just like I want fame. I want all the bitches and all the
There,
all the
there you
cash.
go.
I want to make it rich. I don't want to
Like,
work. I just want to do this for a living. Can we make that happen?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I mean, P. Diddy might if he's not in prison forever, I'm sure he'd be happy to help. I mean, I'm sorry, Stephen Aaron, but Amber will be happy as shit.
Yeah.
Well, we are working on freak parties. I mean, I don't have as much baby oil, but
You've got time.
I'm working on a stockpile. I mean,
And shea butter is where it's at anyway.
Uh,
Oh shit.
I just like for me, I think I mean it's been 20 years and this is the 10th record. I mean, so to me this is kind of a pinnacle. This is I think I feel like it's a big step. Um and I don't even care if people listen to it and they fucking hate it. I mean if they do, they do. Like I feel like that evokes some sort of a response and I'm okay with that because if it tweaks that part of your brain where you're just like, fuck, I hate this, I can't do it, then I'm okay with that. I feel like maybe we did something right in that aspect. Um, but I'm with Steve. I do hope that people give it the time to listen to it from front to back and really, give it some thought because we put a lot of effort into it and it's not just something that we went out of our way to be like, oh, just be as weird as possible. We put a lot of time and a lot of our feelings and emotions went into it to make it be whatever it is. Um, so I hope people like it. I guess that's
I
kind of it.
you know, I think the right people will like it, and
Yeah.
those people they're going to be the people who listen to it from front to back. It's that in my mind, as far as like popular music goes, that's a
Yeah.
lost art. It
Oh
used
yeah.
to be you buy the fucking album and you just put it on and you listen to it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Like, and that was Hollow Leg. They did the Dust and the Echoes EPs, and
Yeah.
then it's coming out on a single 12-inch. Like the coolest thing is like how they start and how it finishes on side A and side B. And you can like listen to it on B first and then A, or A first and then B. And
Yeah, that's cool.
it's fucking fantastic either way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, I think this is going to be a lot like that. It's going to take people on a journey that I hope they're fucking ready for, because, man, I can't wait to go back on this fucking journey.
Oh my gosh.
Love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much, man. It
Wow.
means a lot.
Yeah,
That does.
when full disclosure, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have you on my show. Like
Right.
it's got to meet a certain threshold, and I fucking do, man. I'm so blown away by it. Holy shit.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
I knew halfway into the first song, like they're going to be on my show. I have to have these guys on my fucking
Ah,
show.
That's awesome, man.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate that. It means a lot to us.
Hell yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate the music like more than anything fucking else. Like that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the music and the conversations about random shit that we might talk about. But man, the music is fucking.
There you go.
Thank you.
So do you guys have like things you want to get done musically by the end of the year?
Well, I know after July, once this short run is done, like I said, we've got some more shows that we're booking for August. Before the end of the year, we definitely do want to get down south. We want to get down your way. We'd love to be able to get down towards Florida. Um,
Mhm.
Next year, we are shooting for Europe. That we actually were planning on Europe this year, but we changed our focus because we weren't really sure about how things were going. So we figured, for now, kind of stay on this continent or this area for now. Um, so next year, that's going to be a focus of ours, is to kind of head back, head out that way. Um, Musically, I mean, I think once the winter hits, we'll probably start recording again. Start writing and recording again, and just kind of see where that takes us, and do it all over again. Keep rolling,
Oh,
So
hell yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And with our
Well,
live set, we've been, integrating some of like the old songs and, just keeping it kind of the discography fresh into our mix. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of because we don't have a drummer now, so kind of the charm of that is that, like, one of two things is either we can program the songs from the older sets, or if I have them on an older recording, we can actually take the drums right off the old recording and re EQ them we need to, and just pop them in and relearn them and play them live. So we've been playing some of the songs off a lot of the older stuff, and we're definitely going to keep going down that path and play some stuff from some of the weirder shit that we probably never
Yeah.
played before. So yeah. So
hell yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to make one request, with Europe being where you want to be next year. Uh, you have to play Greece, Athens, either May 8th or May 10th.
I have to write that down. I don't have the best memory.
Right there.
Steve, you got that?
He's like, I got it. My
May
wife and I are
9, May
no, not
9, May 10, Athens.
May 8th.
May
May 8th.
8th
Oh,
or
sorry,
May
May
10th.
8th or
Yeah.
10th.
May 8 and
Yeah.
10.
I'm gonna make sure real quick. So my my wife and I's 10th anniversary is next year, and my 50th birthday is next year. And our agreement was for our 10th anniversary, we'd go to Greece because it's like her bucket list place.
That's cool.
Well, my birthday is May 13th, and Are you guys familiar with Knocked Loose?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Knocked Loose are from here, but Metallica announced that it was Metallica, Gojira, and Knocked Loose in Athens on I think May 9th. I'll double check that later. And I sent it to my wife and she's like, "Do you want to go?" Yes, I fucking do. And she was like, "Hell yeah, close enough to our anniversary and it's your 50th. Like, let's do it." I'm like,
That's cool.
so that is my request because man, how fucking cool would that be to run into you guys in Greece?
I mean, it would be pretty cool.
I'll wear my Spartan outfit.
Ooh.
We've got a year to get this done, so
Yeah, better get on it. At least you're not uh coming to the US and having to deal with the visa shit. That looks like it's a nightmare right now.
there's been a lot of bands that are getting denied, and so yeah, going the other way, I think would be little bit better off. But who knows? I mean, by next year, who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
things could be different next year. Who knows?
Yeah, you
Hopefully.
guys could be fucking rich on your running around on your private jets, fucking playing
Hey,
music for whoever's on the
shit.
jets.
This is true with baby oil, so or shea butter. I mean,
Jojoba.
Oh,
so
oh God.
Jojoba.
Oh shit. Okay.
No, no.
Steve, Amber, Aaron, thank all of you for your time. I've had such a good time like chatting with you and fuck, this has been fun. I can't wait to see you live and meet you all in person. This is gonna be fucking
Yeah.
great.
thank you so much, man.
Thank
We
you.
really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh
Thank you
yeah,
so much. Thanks.
absolutely. We all go and have yourselves a great night, all right?
Thank you. You
Thank
as
you.
well. Stay safe.
Yeah,
Bye.
see ya.